Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I've got a fabulous travel layout using the June 2022 kits, and as you can see they are jam-packed full of simple stories and Heidi Swap, and of course some Hip Kit exclusives. So it's a perfect kit for me, beautiful colours, lots of fun elements that you can play with. So for my layout today, I'm actually doing the recipe challenge, which is the new challenge or the challenge that came up last week on the Facebook group. And you've got 2 weeks to complete the challenge. But the key thing for me, I guess, was the multiple photos. I tend not to do multiple photos a lot, I don't think. However, we've recently had a trip to Venice, which was beautiful and hot, as you can imagine. And I wanted to create a layout where I could store lots of photos and some ephemera. And this is going to be a really fun loaded pocket just for that purpose. So I hope you'll have a go at this and make your own version, because it's ideal for when you have lots of photos to scrap or ephemera, as I will have. So it's a simple construction. I will leave the measurements below, but essentially I've cut out 3 rectangles and I've folded over the base one there, that gingham one that you can see there, and that's just where I'm going to stick it down. And then what I've done is taken the 2 layers on top and folded those over the edge, so I know they'll fit over perfectly. And I'm just using my trimmer here then to score the bottom edges, as you can see. So it's really simple, and you can use this sort of mechanism for lots of, size pockets. It all works the same. So I'm just notching off those corners just so that when you fold it, they don't poke out. And as I say, I will leave the measurements below. So off camera, I've stitched around my edges just to give it a lovely finishing touch, and decided that I would swap to a lovely dark background, which is absolutely perfect for my layout. And I love the way those pretty, I'll tell you what, I'm in love with that tartan paper. I want 20 pieces of that and use it on everything. But anyway, I love the way those colours pop on the background. So I was thinking I had to include lots of tags on the recipe, but looking back on the recipe now, I didn't. So, but anyway, I'm going to be using tags to hold some photos. You could use the tags, to do your journaling, of course. But as you can see, I've just cut out rectangles again that fit inside that big pocket, notched off the corners, and I'll use those to thread through some ribbon. And I have got a ring reinforcer hole punch, which I do like to put on my tags and so on, just because they look pretty. But you can buy reinforcers, and because my punch really isn't that effective, it's always getting stuck. I think I spent about 10 minutes trying to punch out holes, and then another 10 minutes trying to pull out all the bits that were stuck inside it, because it's not easy. So what I've done is I actually made my pocket a little bit smaller than I had originally planned, just because I wanted the tags to poke out the top. And I'm just using some red tape then to join it all together. I'm doing it a bit at a time. Now, I did find it a little bit of a challenge to make sure everything stayed straight. I'm not sure I actually achieved that on the final thing, but you don't really notice on my page. So a top tip from me, if you're using things like double-sided tape, don't peel off the whole, especially if you're doing a long piece. Don't peel it all at once. Peel a little bit, put it into position, and then when you're happy with it, you can peel the rest. So I had an idea actually here to just make the front tag a little bit shorter, so they have a layered effect in the pocket. I just wanted to maximise the amount of pattern paper you could see, because they're so pretty. I'll have this every month, please. They're my favourites.
So I'm just looking through some of the stickers. We get chipboard and so on in the different kits. So forgive me because I've forgotten which one was which. I know those chipboard stickers came in the main kit and they're absolutely gorgeous. So there's so many little pieces in there. They do tend to fall out in my pack, so I think I end up just gathering them together and storing them in something else. So as I say, I do love pattern papers. So what I'm going to do is just add another smidgen of pattern paper to the right hand side of my layout. And if you can see against the dark background, I've carried that yellow colour from the left to the right, and hopefully that will help lead the eye across the page. So kind of a bit of a method to my madness, as it were. And then I'm going to have my title over on the right. Now, I do remember from the recipe challenge, you've got to use at least 2 fonts. So I'm going to have mine say, let's get away to Venice, I think it is. And I'm going to use some of the stickers out the sticker book to complete that. So I'm doing my usual faffing around and trying to decide what to do. Now, because I've got switched to the dark background, I feel like those alpha stickers in the sticker book don't really show up. They're kind of like those, those old-fashioned signboards that you got in the airport and the train station. They're kind of a bit like that. So they're really pretty and really sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mount it onto white card first with a little tiny border. So that's perfect. So now I've got my photos printed. I've just printed mine 3x4. So Mrs. Frugal in me, I tend to put 2 photos on a 6x4 format. So I do prefer that size anyway. So I rarely scrap full size 6x4. And then you get 2 photos for the price of 1 effectively, which is perfect. So I've used one of the frames, and I think that came from the embellishment kit, and I'm going to use that as a kind of a tag or a pull out. And I'm just really put my photo behind, added a couple of stickers, and that's the job done on that one. And I think the only thing is with the pocket is, I love it because it's interactive, but your photos are kind of hidden behind the pockets and so on. So that's something to bear in mind, and maybe you might want to put a photo on the front of your pocket. I used one of the Pocket Life cards there just to hold a photo. And just because this did take me a long time, I've mounted my photos onto some pattern papers and just stuck them down onto those tags. And there's loads of space on the back for more photos and all journaling, of course. I shall be milking our trip to Venice, so you'll see lots of layouts from Venice, I think, this next few weeks. I was going to say when in Rome, but it's actually Venice. So I don't know if you've been to Venice or had that chance to go to Venice. It's we're in the UK, so it's only a 2-hour flight from here. So a lot more doable, I think, than from the United States. But it is the most unique city in the world, as you can imagine. Beautiful buildings, and you just wander around the streets and get lost. And that is the thing to do in Venice, really. You just wander around, and eventually you'll turn up somewhere that you recognise. But it's just fabulous to soak up the atmosphere, as long as you've got good shoes on, because your feet are going to kill you. So one of the elements on the recipe is to do some stamping, and I'm just going to stamp one of these journal spots onto the bottom of this tag. I've been to Venice before, but we did take a gondola ride this time, which was brilliant. Oh, and it was worth every penny. I know they're expensive, but
you know, when in, you know, it's something you have to do in Venice, isn't it? I think the last time we went in winter because we got a really cheap flight for £1. And that was 20 years ago. So gondola rides probably weren't exactly the thing in the middle of winter, but it was absolutely amazing. Just so tranquil, and you know, it just really was perfect. So I think I get a little bit overwhelmed probably with all the stickers, and I think, oh, what shall I choose? What shall I choose? I think if I weren't filming, then I would probably make better decisions or take longer decisions. I think what I find is when I'm filming, I don't want to create a 40-minute film of me faffing around, so it kind of does influence the way you scrap. So I took out one of the stickers from the sticker book, a little tag. I'm just threading some twine through there just for a bit of texture, only a little bit, and I'll just staple that into place. We're actually enjoying a bit of a heat wave here in the UK at the moment. It's all we've talked about for the past week, although it's been a bit too hot for the majority of us. But it's like the country's gone to, you know, standstill. Whereas I guess most of the countries are used to sort of 30, 40 degree heat. We definitely aren't in the UK. But thankfully it's a bit cooler today. So I'm going to use one of those Heidi Swapp puffy titles. And they're gorgeous in real life because they are a little bit ombre, I would say. So there's, in this Explore, for example, there are deeper pinks, almost going to a kind of orange colour. But the kits are put together so well because it matches up with the Simple Stories Let's Go collection, and of course the papers that are designed by Hip Kit Club. So it's a real joy to work with, to be honest. It's absolutely amazing. And travel is always my favourite topic when it comes to scrapbook layouts. I could do travel layouts every day of the week. So I've just taken one of the stickers and I've mounted mine onto foam because they're quite thin, those stickers. I prefer cardstock stickers, but the Simple Stories sticker books, which are fantastic because there's so many in there, but the actual stickers themselves are quite thin, so I just put them on a bit of card just to thicken them up. And they work perfectly well. I think it's just personal preference, isn't it? So up the top right there, you can see that little shaped piece of paper that I cut out. I added a button to that just for some detail. And I'm just going to give you a flick through of the actual finished layout because it's hard to show you how it works when it's a flat picture. But you can see I've stored my tickets in there. And there's the frame from the embellishment kit. More tickets. Now you can store your journaling, so I used one of the Pocket Life cards just to document what we did each day. And then in the back there then I've got more photos. Of course there's plenty of room for your postcards, more photos and tags. So, and this is just a really super way to get lots onto your page, perfect for a holiday photo or a holiday occasion, I should say. But lots of different things really. But look at those chipboard titles and puffy stickers. There's just so many fantastic elements in this kit. It's really one that I think is my favourite that we've had ever, probably. So thank you so much for joining me. I will leave you with the close-ups and I'll put those dimensions in the description. And I really hope you'll give it a go and join in the challenge this week. And I will see you on the next video. I'll also leave links, by the way, to the kits. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.